Finally, the wait is over. It is game day, United v Arsenal. Tonight for me, 11:30 p.m. kickoff here in Taiwan. I cannot wait. I'm going to go through 3 things what are going to help us win the match tonight, or 3 things which could also, on the flip side, mean that we do not win as well. I'm Matt Ward from United Reborn. This is my new channel, and these are my thoughts on the match today. I'm going to keep saying today because obviously it's not tonight for everyone. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you are watching from the world. Now, I'm going to start off by quickly just stating the 3 things which I believe will decide the result tonight. Number 1 will be the midfield dominance. So with Otamendi and Declan Rice, along with a matchup of the different formations, or shall I say, shape, Arsenal, you got to admit, look, whatever fan, whatever supporter you are, or whoever your team is, their midfield is right now at this point stronger than ours, stronger than United's, for the fact that they're used to the way they're playing and they've got the right people in the right positions, and the quality of the players in said midfield positions is very, very high, and they've added some as well. And that is one thing we're going to have to watch out for on the transitions. Out of possession, we need the midfield to be supporting defence and acting as a screen, and also through transitions into the attacking third, we need to also break the lines with the same speed, the same quickness and dynamism. I was going to say dynamic, but dynamism, as we've shown through the friendly matches. That tempo and energy needs to stay high, which is going to be really difficult against this Arsenal team. So that's the first thing, the midfield dominance and the transitions. The second thing is defending the holes. I'm going to show you on the tactics map, on the tactics board very soon, is defending the holes in behind the wing backs. Okay, with their Manueki, and then they've got Sesko, and then obviously with Gyorkeres now, they are going to be looking to hit us where we're weak, and we're weak in them areas behind the fullback. That could win it for Arsenal, that could lose it for us. And the third thing is just about keeping the shape and discipline and not making any stupid errors. I'm looking at the goalkeeper, whether it's Binder starting, which I hope it is. Well, I haven't really got much choice. I don't hope it is, but you know, who's going to be better off? And then there's no stupid mistakes from any of the defenders. And like always, we need to make the most of our chances, because Arsenal are still going to be very rigid, very well drilled and well organised in defence, like they have been for the last 2 seasons. Let me show you our last lineup against Fiorentina, and then what I would like it to be, but what I think it will be. Let's take a look. It may sound a bit strange, but I would have preferred to be playing away for this first match, because the home team always has the onus on them to lead the play, lead the momentum and attack. Now, I think that would suit us, just to see how the land lays, just to see how we are in that first game, just to let Arsenal come on to us and then hit them on the break, which would mean that we wouldn't necessarily have to start with an actual number 9, an actual striker, because obviously Sesko's just joined, he may not be starting. So that isn't happening. We are at home, obviously, for the first match, so it could go one of either 2 ways. We could still be defensive and sit back, which is quite rare, because if you look at our best performances last season, it was when we was against teams what were predominantly on the front foot or attacking, and then we would hit them on the counter. Now it's going to be kind of a different vibe. Okay, so I would have preferred that. So it could be about control, midfield control, what I said. Now, this was the starting lineup against Fiorentina. Okay, Binder, Yoro, Hebben, Maguire, Casemiro, Fernandes, Ahmad, Dogu, Mbeumo, Cunha, and then Mount as a false 9. Now, the only change is, I wouldn't mind this, because if I'm going back talking about midfield dominance again, so having Mason Mount as a false 9, I'm not keen on it. I would prefer to have a 9, even if it's Højlund. You might be saying, what are you talking about? But really, having a presence up there, I think, will be better for Mbeumo and Cunha, Fernandes, Dogu and Ahmad in the attacking third, having that focal point instead of just bodies running with a ball, dribbling in each other's space. I've talked about this many times now in previous videos. So I'll prefer to have that focal point. But if we're going to do this again, then Mason Mount would help to just give us a bit more stability in the midfield area to then not get overrun, to make sure that we're not overloaded or Arsenal don't create too many overloads in the midfield area. Okay. Now we all know the flexibility, the versatility of Cunha and Bremo. So it could even look something like this. Cunha could be dropping back. Okay. Mason Mount would drop in. Okay. And then we try and just secure everything up a little bit more as much as we can. Okay. To make things secure. And then we've really got the option to hit them on the counter. Okay, so that's a possibility if we do start that false nine. And to be honest, Mason Mount hasn't been doing bad. You know, he started really well in the friendly matches. I know. Now, a couple of worries I have first. Okay, are these areas what I said behind the wing backs? That's if we start Ahmad. Now, Dalot, I think Dalot's a bit more defensive. I like Dalot because he can naturally come in here when we need to shift around quickly to make it into a back four, like so. Or, of course, if the ball possession is on this side, then it has to be this side where defense side across Dorgu, or the defensive or the deeper lane midfielder would then drop back into a central back area. There are a couple of the options. However, with Ahmad, I like him going forward, Dorgu as well. But Ahmad getting back his defensive capabilities are going to need some practicing that will come within game time and understanding of the system. However, I believe that Heaven got caught out more than a few times behind these areas. So what I mean is, when we're attacking or we're being countered in a transition, we're getting caught out, whether it's Yoro a little bit further up or whether it's Heaven out of position. Okay, we're getting caught in the areas behind the wing back because our wing backs are pushed up too far. So if you remember back to the West Ham match where Bowen he scored the first goal for West Ham and nearly scored the second. Okay, Heaven took so long to get to the ball player, to put pressure on that ball player, which is basically the first thing you got to do in defensive principles. You got to get to the ball, you've got to put pressure on, and then you've got to delay so we can get shape in the rest of the defense. And everything was disjointed. It took Heaven so long to get to the ball player, and then when he did get close, he was almost in the penalty box. Bowen was when he scored the first goal, and it happened again on our right hand side as well in the second half. So this is where I wouldn't start Heaven. Okay, he's improving a lot, but I got a feeling, and not to say that I prefer him, but I've got a feeling that he's going to start with that. Amram's going to start with Shaw. Okay, now I'm not too keen, not very mobile, but he has got the know-how of getting out more quicker to the wings, which is going to be really, really important against Sesko. And if it is Manueke, what's starting for Arsenal, who I rate both them really highly, by the way, he has got the know-how as a fullback or a wide player to get out there and defend the flanks properly, and also how to defend the ball in behind. Okay, so that's the only thing I'm thinking personally, and how Amrin may be thinking as well. Yoro I'll keep in place. There is an argument for Delit to start, but I just think with Maguire's ability or leadership ability at the back, I just feel him and Shaw do actually work quite well together. And look, we haven't got many other options. Martinez is out, and yeah, we need one or two more additions. Now, just coming back here, obviously with the additions of Bremo and Cunha, I think we are going to see Fernandez dropping back into that kind of 8 role on the midfield role. Okay, and now some people say, oh well, he got in a way. He was trying to do long passes, but Mbeumo and Cunha need to get it to the feet so they can turn and run. I agree with that, and it is true. He does tend to do too much. However, also against Fiorentina and in previous matches, Fernandez was our best player at winning back possession and picking up the loose balls. It's there in the stats, okay? I'm not just saying that because that's what I see. That's what I can see as a supporter, as a previous pro coach, but also through the stats. So I think if we can get a right balance with him doing that, great. Casemiro cannot start against Arsenal. I'm sorry. He cannot start against Arsenal. And regardless of what we think, Ugarte is probably our best player to have more of a defensive minder or a destroyer minder to break up play right now. I would love to see Mainu in there. I would love to really see him kick on. I love the way how he can control possession. He's comfortable on the ball, but right now we need that player who's gonna break things up and destroy things. Okay, and Ugarte is the best we've got at that right now. Fernandez is really good at picking up the pieces, picking up the second ball. I think that's going to be really important. Dogo and Ahmad, okay. Because I'm more pessimistic, even as a coach and a supporter, I'll put Dalot right back, okay? But I do like Ahmad's attacking qualities. So I would like to also keep Ahmad in that position, but yeah, I'm going to leave that, and I think we're going to leave it there as well. Same with Dorgu, but I do think they need to be more defensive minded against Arsenal, okay, and have defend in mind rather than attack, because we've got Mbeumo and Cunha, which can now create attacks out of nowhere and carry the ball. If anything, if we're going to do this, then I wouldn't mind to see Mbeumo starting up, which he has done in the past, and whether it's Mount what drops back, or whether it's Fernandez what goes in as the second 10, and then we change Mount with Mainu there. Okay, that's another option. But whether happens, we're going to get some good rotation. I don't think that will happen. I think there's a possibility that we are going to have Mount starting in the false 9. They seemed fairly comfortable with that, okay? But again, we're going to see some rotation as we have done previously, okay? It could even be Mount dropping back sometimes. And of course, formations are not formations. It's just different shapes, what are changing. It could even be Mount dropping back sometimes. It could be the two who are pressing. It's been Mbeumo, what was leading the press. Mount was leading the press centrally as well from attack. But I really think we do have to ease off with the pressure in the final third, because we have been very proactive and pressing opposition in their half. The stats show that as well. We've had more touches in that half. But if Arsenal are clever and break the press, this is where we're going to get caught out. We're going to get counter-attacked, and that's where we're going to be vulnerable in behind our wide players. And that's one thing we need to avoid. I feel like Sesko, yes, we all want him to start, but I think he's going to play a bit part. If it's dreadful, maybe just after half-time, maybe he's going to get 25 or 30 minutes under his hat. Look, if Højlund's still around, unless there's a transfer on its way, then he won't get started. But if he's staying in the squad, okay, let's use him, shall we? Let's use him if needed. But glory, glory, Man United. Let's go. Let's get it together. Let's get some points on the board. In my head, 3 points are with us. In my heart, I think it's going to be a 1-1 or a 2-2. Stay strong. Watch more videos and playlists right here.